Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Now, efforts are underway to modernize Kenya's agriculture sector after a significant drop in farmers' earnings last year. Drought and an invasive insect known as fall armyworm played a big role. The poor seed varieties and a lack of equipment like tractors are also persistent problems. Lenny Ruvaga reports for VOA.
John Minor, a farmer in Thika, about 45 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, is about to begin plowing his 1-hectare farm in preparation for the planting season. But before he can do this, he ensures that the tractor is in working condition. For the past year, Minor has turned to mechanized farming courtesy of an app known as Tinga, which when translated from Swahili means tractor. In the past, Minor would farm using manual labor, which according to him was both time-consuming and costly.
Using the tractor has been really good and efficient. Before, when I used to hire workers to till manually, it would take up to 3 days. But using a tractor, one can take only 2 hours, and the harvests are much better.
Tinga was developed 2 years ago by Kenyan app developers to help farmers get access to tractors at a fraction of its cost. Tinga operations manager Ken Mwangi notes that in 1 month, some 1,000 farmers used the services offered by Tinga. The app can be found on the Google Play Store, and by following a few simple steps through a series of prompts, the farmers can schedule a tractor at the time of their choosing. Plowing a hectare of land costs an average of $30. According to Mwangi, this has encouraged farmers countrywide to turn to mechanized farming. However, Mwangi says that there are challenges with literacy and access to smartphones.
Most of our farmers don't have smartphones. This has led to a situation where they cannot be able to request for our services. However, we have mitigated against this by providing our farmers with a text message number that they can use to also request the same services on SMS.
Tei Mukunya, the CEO of Azuri, began the health food manufacturing company 7 years ago to encourage a healthy lifestyle through nutrition. Azuri indirectly employs about 5,000 farmers who supply raw materials for the company's product range. Azuri exports its products to Europe, Middle East, Asia and Africa. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, the number of farmers in the country who earned more than $1,000 dropped in the past year. Mukunya says that diversifying her products has meant that farmers have a stable income source.
Farmers in Kenya are small-scale farmers, so they grow very many products. So the wider the product range we have, it means that we're able to take more from the farmers. So we pick bananas, we pick beans, we pick maize, we pick mangoes, we pick all sorts of products, which then you find will be the same pool of farmers. It really boosts their income in that way.
Dr. Christine Chege, an agricultural economist at the International Center for Tropical Agriculture, CIET, notes that persistent drought in parts of the country, coupled with the invasive fall armyworm, has diminished food security in the country. Chege says that affordability and access to healthy foods are key challenges in the country.
So the climate changes that we're experiencing in Africa currently is affecting the production of various food commodities, and of course that affects the consumption. And then secondly, we have issues to do with affordability and accessibility of healthy phones. We find these phones are not accessible or affordable to poor consumers in urban areas.
For smallholder farmers such as Minor, the decision to mechanize his farming methods, along with the relative affordability of farming machinery, has meant that his yield has steadily risen each time he harvests. Lenny Ruvaga for VOA News, Nairobi, Kenya.
The role of youths in national development has been described as not only significant, but also pivotal. This is the agreement of speakers at the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Lagos. The speakers, one of them, the chairman and CEO of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, want the youths to embrace self-development, partnership and disruptive thinking to drive their innovative minds to take over the markets and the global economy. Our correspondent, Temple Ashaju, reports.
The Global Entrepreneurship Week is a decade-old tradition of enterprise-oriented institutions across about 170 countries. This year, the event focuses on the need for disruptive innovation for technology in national development, and the Lagos event attracted over 500 Youth Corps members.
What are we doing? Bringing people to compete favorably with themselves in their different sectors. Millions of entrepreneurs are being encouraged here to connect, to collaborate, and to meet mentors and investors who can help them start their businesses and inspire them.
As the keynote speaker, the chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and chairman Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, drills down on how a youth entrepreneur can be disruptively innovative.
The youth must have a right attitude. The attitude should be one of goal orientation. The youth should be able to be purposeful and not be carried away by the enticement of the now, of the moment. An eye on the future helps the drive for more work, hunger, which can be rewarding at most times.
Mr. Momo supports the belief that the youth holds the future of any nation, a group that must not be neglected in critical nation building.
Youth is synonymous with being young. And being young is a representation for newness, a representation for freshness, and for a commencement. Some may be quick to point out that the state of the nation's youth may not necessarily be the sole yardstick for growth. That's correct. But it stays as a significant factor in the assessment of productivity and efficiency.
Discussants of the keynote presentation share some tips on how youths can navigate the challenges of enterprise startups.
I studied G4S. It is a security company like me. They had 625,000 staff. Their turnover in 2011 was 7.4 billion pounds, equivalent of 2.59 trillion naira. I like numbers. If you don't like numbers, you cannot be rich. The NYSC is a national orientation program. Orientation for national mentality thinking. That is the first thing the NYSC should do. It should give us a nationalistic thinking.
Not everybody should be an entrepreneur. Not everybody should own their own business. Some people need levels of comfort moving forward. And I personally don't need comfort right now.
How do the young people here in this room with very bright, amazing ideas, despite the environment, transition a lot of ideas to sustainable and viable businesses? That's the question.
The event also features a pitching program with 3 Youth Corps members emerging as winners for best business ideas and walking away with cash prizes ranging from 200,000 to 500,000 naira. When the Global Entrepreneurship Week closes this weekend, these youths will be well on their way to becoming great entrepreneurs. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
It's time now for a short break, as we do remind you to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come, from refugee to trauma counselor, how one survivor turned her own experience into an art therapy program for Somali children. We'll bring you that story after the break.